What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Backyard Beer Tastings. I am Toby from BeerCoastersPodcast.com. At BeerCoastersPodcast.com, we have over 300 episodes of our podcast. You can download each one of them for free. You can also subscribe for free in iTunes and Stitcher. If you want to contact us, you can send us an email, backwash@BeerCoastersPodcast.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, of course. And here in the Backyard Beer Tasting series, which we like to sneak in between our regular podcast, we try beer in our backyard. And here I am in San Diego, California. It's quite a gloomy day, and I wanted to get this beer tasting in before the rain starts coming down. Now, speaking of that, Tony, Beer Coaster Tony, back in Connecticut, recently did his backyard beer tasting in the snow. And he mentioned how beautiful and sunny San Diego is for most. Now, that might be true for most of the year, but today, as you can see, it's getting pretty nasty out. So I want to try this beer before the rain starts coming down. Now, the beer that we're speaking of is from Novo Brazil Brewing, and that's the Corvo Negro. It's an Imperial Stout from local brewery Novo Brazil. They're down in Chula Vista, just outside of San Diego. And while I get into some stats on the beer, let's pour it in a glass and see what we got. All right, so like I said, this is an Imperial Stout. Comes in at 11% ABV with 80 IBUs on their website, which is novobrazilbrewing.com. They don't really list any information on this beer other than those two that I just gave you, but they do have a barrel-aged version of this that comes in at 13% ABV. Novo Brazil is a Brazilian brewery, so the first of its kind in the United States. Now, the founder and head brewer is Brazilian, and he lived in the States for a while and then moved back to Brazil with his brewing passion that he started to form as he was living here in the States, and he went back to Brazil, opened up a brewery, and that's kind of what they brought to Chula Vista, is a kind of like the second brewery from Novo Brazil. Now, it's actually Otay Lakes Brewing LLC is the parent company, but it is novobrazilbrewing.com. They've won tons of awards already, so check out their website. You can see how many awards they've already won. They've been open for less than 2 years, and it's pretty outstanding. It's a very nice facility that they have down in Chula Vista. So on the pour, it's black, of course. I've got a very khaki-colored head, nice lacing happening on the nose. I get some candied sugars in there, some chocolate. There's even some molasses, a little bit of cocoa, some coffee, vanilla. But yeah, this like big kind of candied sugar, caramelized sugar up front. I'm even getting a hint of maybe some banana esters maybe coming through. Interesting. All right, let's take a sip. Cheers. Taking a sip, yeah. Right up front, I get cola and a little bit of licorice and molasses. In the finish, there's some roasty coffee, there's some dark chocolate. Yeah, in the initial sip, it's nice and sweet with a hint of bitterness, and then in the aftertaste is when the bitterness starts to roll in. But up front, yeah, there's some vanilla in there. It's the first sip, I didn't think it was that big, 11% beer. First sip, I was like, oh, this is kind of like, kind of cola and The mouthfeel was very light at first, and now it's not thickening up, but it is starting to coat my tongue, and it is starting to get a little more robust. So I'm getting some more like big roasty, and the sweetness, yeah, like I said, the sweetness comes in the beginning, and then it kind of goes away in the aftertaste, and you're just left with kind of like bitter chocolate and an astringent kind of coffee bite, roasted coffee bite. Very nice. Yeah, and the first kind of sip, there's this interesting kind of dark berry and banana in the beginning, and then vanilla, chocolate, coffee, molasses. Lots of interesting stuff happening in this one. I want to give a shout out to Robbie. Thanks for hooking me up with the bottle. Corvo. Corvo meaning raven in Portuguese. Raven right over there, or is it a crow squawking? Now on the Beer Coasters podcast, we do give ratings for all the beers that we try. We do a 5-pint rating system, 5 being the perfect pint. This one is, it's pretty good. I'm curious to see what the barrel-aged version would be, because I can kind of, with those little like fruity hints and stuff in there, I wonder if those would go away with the barrel version and you get more vanilla, more oakiness, obviously. I kind of like, this has a very interesting twist that I wasn't really expecting. So in that case, I think I'm gonna give it a 4. It's not one of my favorite Imperial Stouts, but it is definitely worth checking out, and it does have these interesting sweet berry kind of fruity esters in there. It's very interesting, very tasty. So yeah, 4 pints, Novo Brazil Corvo Negro Black Raven Imperial Stout, right here at Backyard Beer Tastings, BeerCoastersPodcast.com. I am Toby from San Diego, California. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget to like the video, comment below. If you have any questions or comments, you can always email us, backwash@BeerCoastersPodcast.com. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, any one of those, if you have any questions or comments.
You only waiting for this moment to arrive. Well, you only waiting for this moment to arrive.
How do you say cheers in Portuguese? Saúde! I think. Saúde? Saúde.